Welcome back to No Limit 2. It has been a while, but I thought I'd finally jump back on and try some of the recently added cars I haven't made setups for yet. Now, they have changed the game quite a bit since I last played. You can slam the cars right to the ground again, which means you are able to get a lot quicker times than before. So the first car I thought I'd try here, the Ford Thunderbird, I've got doing low 5.6s. My best run so far is a 5.627, I believe. So stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you a clip of that best run. And I'm just going to walk you through the upgrades here and the tune setup and go over a few things you can adjust if it isn't working on your particular device. So let's get right into the setup. So starting off with upgrades, and you want to go into engine. Very simply in here, just max out everything to the best level possible. Of course, we just want the most power if we're going for the quickest time. Then onto intake, max the intake, exhaust, max exhaust. You can set any exhaust type you want. I've just kept it on the normal exit. It shouldn't really make any difference. Then for the power adder, I've gone for the Pro Charger and frontal. That doesn't make any difference either. You could put side or front. It won't make any difference at the end time. The only thing is, make sure you use the Pro Charger, not the other ones. They can all run 5.6s and the same times, but they do tend to work slightly differently depending on the setup. So just for consistency, use the same one I've got, which is the Pro Charger. Then on to transmission, max clutch, and max flywheel. Make sure you use the 6-speed transmission for the gears, because obviously we need all 6. That's going to keep us in the power band for the most amount of time during the run. And yeah, as I said, fully upgraded on the other two as well. Suspension, front brakes, fully upgraded. Rear brakes, fully upgraded. Same with the front suspension, rear suspension, and the axle config. This is an important one which you've got to pay attention to. Make sure you set torque arm for the axle config type. Those 5 different ones do react slightly differently, so you've got to have the same one I use for the same time. And then I think the brakes you don't actually need to upgrade if you want to save a bit of money and you're short on cash in game, but I've just maxed them out here because I obviously have enough money. On to frame I should say. Roll cage, I haven't upgraded the roll cage. I've noticed on this current update the cars seem to launch a bit harder. I'm just getting better times without the roll cage installed. So you don't need to add that one. Wheelie bar. I've added the wheelie bar, but you're going to notice from the run in a minute that it doesn't actually ever touch the ground. Because of the new suspension config in this game, on one of the recent updates, you can slam all the cars to the ground again. So they don't actually ever hit the wheelie bar. It's like when the game first ever came out. They're pretty much slammed to the floor and they don't wheelie enough to ever need the wheelie bar. But I've put it on there anyway, just because I think it adds a bit of stability, even if it doesn't touch the ground, weirdly, just a quirk of the game. Weight reduction, max that one out. We want the car as light as possible for the quickest time. And weight transfer, fully upgrade that as well. Parachute, I've not bothered adding, because I don't really feel any need to. It's just an extra thing to do to activate it at the end of the run, and I don't think you really need it, or it makes any difference to the time. Then on to computer, nitrous tuning, I haven't upgraded. We don't have nitrous installed, so you don't actually need to upgrade that one. Launch, fully upgrade the launch controller and the fuel controller, timing controller as well, and yeah, max out the boost controller. So just all of those 4, you don't need the nitrous, because obviously we don't have nitrous. And finally onto tyres, this is the most important one that people tend to miss when the setups don't work. You need the exact same tyre size. So for the rear, I've gone 35 height, 21 width, and 15 for the rim diameter, so make sure that's exactly the same or it will affect the gear ratios. And then on to the front tyres, 25 height, 2 width, and diameter 16 on the rims. Make sure that's the same as well, because if you have bigger tyres on the front of the car is higher off the ground, so it does affect the setup as well. So make sure you go through, double check everything exactly the same there, and now we'll get on to the tune setup. Now moving on to the tune setup, make sure you have everything exactly the same in this part. Even 1 click difference on the bump stiffness, for example, can affect how the car works. This game is really sensitive to changes compared to some other games like Forza, for example. So first thing you want to do here, always go into the computer section, because you're going to need to change the limiter RPM in order to set the correct gear ratios. So for this setup, I've got launch control on to make sure that's ticked and set to 9,000 RPM. Limiter RPM set to 10,000. Shift flight RPM, this is preference. I like to put it as 9.6 because it's kind of a middle ground of where you shift. You'll notice from the clip in a minute, you don't always shift at the same point. You tend to short shift first to second a bit early, then as you go up through the gears, shift later and later. That's kind of a simple way to put it. But the best way is just watch my run and then copy when I shift if you want to get the best time. Then onto delay box, this is preference as well. I set this just for the pro tree, so I launch when the amber light comes on, and then the car consistently goes with a fairly good reaction time when it goes green. If you don't want to do that and you just want to react to green, set that to 0. Then fuel rate and timing, this is a key one. You need to have your own specific setup for your car. You won't be able to copy my numbers for this one. So what you can do is pay 300 gold if you bought a stock car for each one to get the perfect tune, as you can see top right. Or the best thing to do is buy the strip car version. It's only $150,000. You won't need to spend any gold, but it will come with the perfect tunes installed. So that's what I usually always do, just buy the strip car. And then onto boost, we want max boost on everything, 30 psi. Onto transmission, here's the ratios I've gone for. If you want to learn how to do this yourself instead of copying it, I do have a transmission tuning tutorial video that will be linked in the description or top right of the video if you want to have a look at that one at the end. So for the gear ratios, I've just gone 328 first, 236, 184, 148, 124, 101 and 383. For the graph scale, that's irrelevant. I see people asking if that affects the setup. No, it is literally just the scale of the graph, so you can put all the gears on the screen properly. So just make sure you've got all those gears exactly the same. One thing you can change if it's not quite working on your particular device. So if the car's bogging down, maybe up first gear to about 3.3. And if the opposite, if the wheels are spinning, you could lower first to maybe 326. Something like that. So if the wheels are spinning in general, just go left, lower the number. If the car's bogging down and launching slowly, go the other way, increase the number, that will shorten the gear. On to suspension, as you can see now, it's been a while since I played this, but they do allow you to go down to 0.15 now and really slam the car to the ground. So go 0.15 front and rear. Stiffness, gone 67 on the front, 21 on the rear. I do actually have a suspension tuning tutorial as well, so I'll link that in the top right hand corner of the video too if you want to learn how to set up the suspension yourself. Bump, gone 5.6 on the front, 1000 on the rear. Rebound, 1000 front, 7000 on the rear. Make sure they're exactly the same. The game is really sensitive to those changes. And extension, rear all the way low at 0.24 and the front of 0.28. Onto the wheelie bar. As you can see here, the wheelie bar isn't actually, well, ever going to touch the ground in the setup. I've just positioned it so it's in the car so you can't actually see it, seeing as you don't actually need it. So I've just got -1 on the length and 1.5 on the height. Weight, this is a really crucial one, make sure it's the same. 0.49 on the center position and 0.05 on the height. This is another area you can slightly adjust if you're having problems. So if you find the car's spinning the wheels a lot at the start on your particular phone, maybe move that to 0.48. If it's doing the opposite, the car's bogging down and not spinning the wheels at all, maybe bump that up to 0.5, but I've gone for 0.49 for now, so I'd always just try my exact setup first. Computer we've already covered. Nitrous, we don't have nitrous installed, so obviously you don't need to do anything with that one. So that's it for the setup. Make sure you drop a like if you've enjoyed the video so far, and now we'll get on to my 5.6 run. Getting into the run here, this is my best one so far, 5.627, and the main thing is just going to be copying when I change gear, because that is crucial in getting the best times. Tyre temp, we've gone 125, that seems to still be the best still for the tyre temp. And I am using the Pro stage there, so if you are as well, just go to the green line. You don't actually need to though. Launching on the amber light with the delay box I have set. And the main thing there, you probably noticed, short shift first to second, so change about 9,200 RPM first to second. And then the rest of the gears you gradually change a bit later and a bit later. And as you can see there, 5.627. You could probably get a 5.61 with this setup if you gave it a few more attempts. And the 60 pull of a 0.793, so yeah, as you can see there, the cars are a bit quicker in this new update. And that's it from me. Make sure you drop a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.